So, good morning, everyone. I'm Lama Dundrup, and I welcome you to this virtual shrine room. And on Tuesdays and Fridays, I've been leading a calm abiding practice and a Tara who dispels epidemics. So, I'm here to do those practices with you today. A little about myself. I'm the resident Lama at Sukha City Foundation, which is a Shangpa Kagyu center in Fairfax, California, founded by Lama Palden. And we have transitioned all our classes and meditations online. And so I'm here with you today on Facebook Live. And to let you know about a few things that are coming up, tomorrow and Sunday, I'll be leading a Medicine Buddha retreat. So I will be giving teachings and explanation of the practice text. And so going over that, giving some general teachings, and also doing the practice together. And then a week from Sunday, on April 26th, I'll be starting what we call our Sukha City Sunday series. And what that entails is a morning of practice together. So the time is from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. and it's divided into 3 segments, and people can join for any one or all of those segments. And what we'll be doing is this Tara practice that we're doing today. We'll also be doing the Medicine Buddha practice, and I will be finishing up a teaching on the 5 wisdoms that I started in a previous series, and so particularly around working with difficult emotions. And also today, just after this meditation at 9:30 a.m., again on Facebook Live, I'm going to be presenting an informational session about the Sukha City Foundation's Dharma Training Program, which is a program that takes participants in a structured way through the fundamental teachings of Vajarayana and Mahayana. So if you would like to learn more about that, following the meditation at 9:30, I'll be doing a separate Facebook Live session, and will be available to answer any questions you may have. So then today, moving into our practices. And I see some friends have joined with, hello Andy from the UK, and Leslie and Richard, hello everyone. Good to see you, or good to be sitting with you this morning in this virtual space. So moving into the calm abiding and the Tara practice. I mentioned on Tuesday that this Tara practice is an abbreviated generation and completion stage practice. The generation or completion stage is called K-Rem, and the completion stage is called Zokrem. So the generation or creation stage is K-Rem, and the completion stage is Zokrem. And the creation stage is when we are generating or creating the visualization of Tara in the sky in front, and interacting and developing a relationship with that embodiment of compassion. And then the completion stage is when we dissolve the visualization into ourselves, and we dissolve into open awareness. And then we rest our mind in the nature of mind, suchness. That's the completion stage. And I had mentioned on Tuesday that there are 3 aspects that are important or essential in developing our generation and completion stage practice. And I talked about the first of those on Tuesday. So those 3 points are clear appearance, in Tibetan we refer to that as sel, recollecting purity, which we refer to in Tibetan as dak, and stable confidence, which in Tibetan is ten. So we refer to those 3 as sel, dak, ten, sum, sum meaning 3. So on Tuesday, I spoke a little bit about clear appearance, and that is basically that we do our best to visualize Tara and the whole visualization with vividness, with clarity, brilliance, and precision. And our capacity to do that is a direct reflection of how strong our shamatha is, or how much we are resting in non-distraction. And so then today I'd like to move on to the second point. And the second point is the recollection of purity. And we refer to that as DOC. So the recollection of purity refers to two things. One is maintaining pure view, and the other is recognizing that everything arises from awakened mind. And everything that arises from awakened mind is intrinsically pure. It is intentional, it's meaningful. There's a significance to every aspect of that. So from a Buddhist point of view, our entire experience is nothing other than a projection of our mind. In actuality, our experience is no more real than a dream, no more substantial than a dream. And in this generation and completion stage practice, this technique is using that strong habitual pattern we have of projecting our world. It takes that habitual pattern and uses that habitual pattern to wake us up to our true nature. So instead of projecting our everyday world that we do every day habitually from moment to moment, and seeing that as solid and independently existent, instead we project a world that is primordially pure, that's radiant, that is inseparable from emptiness. So it appears like a rainbow. It appears vividly, yet there's no substance. There's nothing we can grab onto. So this helps us to loosen that fixation we have on things as being solid and real. So the first way we do that is maintaining pure view. And to do this, we view ourselves, our environment, all beings, all sound, all thought, all feelings, everything that we experience or view that as being pure. We view ourselves and all beings as Tara in this case. So we view ourselves and all beings as manifestations of compassion. And rather than seeing our bodies as solid, as we normally do, we experience them as a body of light. So it's appearance emptiness. It's something, as I mentioned, it's like a rainbow. It appears vividly, yet there's nothing that we can grab on. It's often described, the Yidam's body, Tara's body, is often described as being a tent that is lit with light from within. So we view ourself and all beings as Tara, as compassion manifest in form. We see all of our surroundings as a pure land. So we see everything as being exquisite and beautiful, and we see trees, we see creeping plants, we see flowers and exquisite scents, and we hear the songs of the birds, and we hear sounds of a stream flowing or a gentle waterfall. So everything is inviting and exquisite, and all of it is appearing in a way that's transparent or translucent. And then all sound that we hear as the sound of Tara's mantra, meaning that all sound that we hear is the manifestation of Tara's wisdom and her compassion, taking the form of vibration and sound. And we experience all thought as the movement of that compassionate aspect of awakened mind. And so, because everything that we're experiencing is the radiance of the mind, everything and everyone that appears are endowed with qualities of awakened mind. And so this leads us to the second part of the practice of recollecting purity. So with this aspect, which is basically seeing everything that arises as meaningful. So all that arises in our experience is arising from awakened mind. It's the radiance of mind, the luminosity of mind. And because of this, it's primordially pure. It's intentional. Everything that arises has meaning and significance. It's not random. So we practice this aspect of recollecting purity. When we're doing the practice, we practice this aspect by recalling the meaning of everything that's arising. So every aspect of Tara has a specific meaning. And rather than mention all those to you right now, I'm going to do that as we're doing the practice. So I'll be talking about, as we're visualizing, why her left leg is drawn in close, why her right leg is slightly extended, the meaning of all of her ornaments and silks, the meaning of her hair, and just every aspect has meaningfulness, it has intention, significance. So because I'm going to do that in the practice, I'd like to move into the practice now. So we'll start, as we have been, with a calm abiding practice. And with the calm abiding practice, we are working, as I mentioned last time, on a number of levels. On the most fundamental level, we're working with our mind so we can be grounded and present, particularly during this difficult time. So we're stabilizing ourselves in our present experience so that we do not get absorbed in thoughts, in anxiety and fear, anger, etc. And then as we quiet our minds on that fundamental level, our intention is to remain in non-distraction, in direct contact with our experience, so that we are not experiencing everything through our mental consciousness. That's when we have moved into thoughts. When we've moved into thoughts, we are in a full-on dualistic experience. And we are trying to gradually unlearn that habit of dividing our experience into categories of pleasant or unpleasant, categories of good or bad or neutral, self and other. We're trying to let go of that habitual pattern of experiencing everything as perceiver and the perceived. And when we can loosen that fixation, when we can move a little bit more into a non-dualistic point of view, the more and more we do that, the more we rest in natural awakened awareness. And when we are resting in awakened awareness, all of the qualities of awakened mind just spring forth. So we'll quiet our minds, do our best to rest in non-distraction. And then from that place of stillness, the compassion of awakened mind, in this case in the form of Tara, will spring forth as this body of light in the sky in front. So we are going to start by doing the refuge and generating bodhicitta, generating that wish, that intention to awaken for all beings. And we'll also be chanting a prayer of the four immeasurables. And so when we're doing this practice today, when you're doing any practice, it's particularly helpful to recognize this right now as we're in a situation of sheltering in place, and some of us are on our own, or we might feel disconnected from family and friends. Whenever we do a practice, we are doing this practice with all beings. And so you can literally visualize in your space your parents, your friends, your partner, your extended family, and then moving out to all beings. So we see ourselves and all beings doing this practice, and we generate the wish that they benefit from the practice that we are doing, that we awaken in order to benefit them. And so you'll find these opening prayers on the practice page, which I believe is posted in the comments. So we'll chant this refuge prayer 3 times. Until enlightenment, I take refuge in the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. Through the accumulation of merit and wisdom, may I awaken for the benefit of all beings. Until enlightenment, I take refuge in the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. Through the accumulation of merit and wisdom, may I awaken for the benefit of all beings. Until enlightenment, I take refuge in the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. Through the accumulation of merit and wisdom, may I awaken for the benefit of all beings. May all beings have happiness and the causes of happiness. May all beings have no suffering nor the causes of suffering. May all beings have the supreme bliss which is free from all suffering. May all beings live in the great equanimity which is free from all attachment and aversion. So we want to find a way to sit that is upright, a way that allows your spine to be straight. We want to be alert yet relaxed. And we'll begin with 3 cleansing breaths. So we're first going to exhale all of the air from the body. And then 3 times we're going to inhale, and we're going to inhale and exhale 3 times. And on the inhalation, we're going to breathe in 5 colored light. And on the exhalation, breathe out any illness, any obstacle, anything that blocks your path of awakening. So we'll turn our experience or our attention to our body. Feeling yourself sitting on the earth, whether it be directly on a cushion or on a chair. Allowing your attention, which tends to be focused up in the head, allow that to come down into the whole of your body. So your awareness is evenly distributed throughout your body. And I'm going to ring the bell 3 times to start our meditation. And on the first ringing of the bell, we'll let go of all thoughts of the past, all activity of the past. On the second ringing of the bell, we will let go of all thoughts of the future, anything that's going to come after the sitting session, etc. And on the third ringing of the bell, we'll let go even of thoughts about the present. So setting this intention not to move into the mental consciousness, but to remain in direct contact with our present experience, without commentary, without judgment. So becoming aware of your entire body from the inside out. And then locate in your experience the subnavel center, which is 3 finger widths below the navel. You can rest your hand there if you'd like to help you feel that area of the body. So we're going to rest our attention in that energy center, which is in the center of the body, a little bit in front of the spine. And become aware of the breath as it moves, as it expands the body, and as the body relaxes, as the air leaves the body. And try to experience that sensation in the subnavel center. So we're keeping our attention low in the body and grounded. And if you're comfortable having your eyes open, this practice is done traditionally with the eyes open. It's okay though if you need to close them. And we want the gaze to be downwards with the eyes not fixating on anything. So have the gaze be soft, just resting naturally. And we'll simply do a practice of resting in non-distraction. So when anything arises in your experience, rather than moving towards it or away from it or blocking it, ignoring it, just simply allow it to be in your experience. Allow it to arise and pass in its own time, while you remain with your attention resting one-pointedly on the area of the subnavel center and the breath as it expands the body and the body relaxes. As you follow the breath with each exhalation, you can allow yourself to relax more and more into your experience. Allowing the earth beneath us to support us. Allowing all the sense doors to be completely open. Gradually allowing your mind to come to stillness, its natural state. Like a body of water that's resting very still. That perfectly reflects everything that arises. So as we've been doing, we'll now turn our attention to just the exhalation. And as the air leaves the body, allow your attention to expand, your awareness to open in all directions, 360 degrees. And you can allow your gaze to slowly rise until you are looking into space, your gaze slightly directed upwards. And with the gaze upwards, you can let go now of attention to the breath and just allow yourself to rest in this open space of awareness. Absorb your mind in this open, vast space. And then, like a great wave, we're going to imagine that the compassionate aspect of mind springs forth, the radiance of mind springs forth in the sky in front as a fully blossomed lotus. This lotus is made of light and is three-dimensional. And on top of it instantly appears a flat disk of the moon, resting horizontally on the lotus. This creates a seat. And then focus your attention in the center of that lotus and moon disk, just above the moon disk. And like a fish leaping from water, a drop of light instantly appears. This light is saffron in color and utterly brilliant, radiating in all directions. This is the essence of Tara who dispels epidemics. Jetson Droma Ritu Loma Gyunma. And then imagine that instantly that drop of light transforms into Tara, into the manifestation of awakened compassion. She appears in a body made of light that radiates in all directions, as if light is shooting out from every pore. And she sits with her left leg drawn in. And this is indicating that she has renounced greed and attachment, delusion, hatred, jealousy. She's completely renounced those kleshas. And her right leg is slightly extended because she has made this commitment to come to the aid of beings the moment they call her. Her right hand rests in the mudra of generosity, the mudra of supreme generosity, meaning that her palm is resting upwards on her right knee, and she freely offers all that we need on a relative human level and all that we need on an ultimate level, offering us realization, the capacity to enact enlightened activity, the capacity to manifest awakened qualities. And then with her left hand, she presses together her thumb and her ring finger. And this is a manifestation of compassion and wisdom arising inseparably. It's also a manifestation of phenomena being inseparable with their true nature. And this is called the refuge, or the mudra of refuge. And the three fingers that are standing vertically are representing the three jewels of the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. And between that thumb and ring finger, she's holding the stem of a lotus. And this lotus is blossoming at her left ear. And this indicates that all the qualities of awakening have blossomed in her being. It indicates that she is awakened, yet remains in samsara and to benefit beings, and so she is not susceptible to the suffering of samsara. This is represented in this lotus, this flower that blossoms out of the mud. And she's ornamented with silks and jewels. So she's ornamented with 8 kinds of jewelry. So the first being the crown at the top of her head. She's also wearing earrings, 3 necklaces, short length, medium length, and long. She's wearing bracelets on her arms at both her wrists and her elbows. And she also wears anklets. And her silk garments are bound by a belt. So these are the 8 ornaments that are all golden and adorned with jewels. And then she wears 5 different types of silk or silk garments. She has one piece of silk that attaches, that ties, that is binding the crown and allowing it to stay on her head. There's another piece of silk that is attached to her top knot. She also wears a silk garment around her upper body. And then she wears 2 layers of silk as her lower garment. And so these are 5 types of silk. So together these 5 silk garments and her 8 ornaments represent that she has accomplished the 13 stages of liberation, the 13th being full and complete realization. And the crown that she wears is the crown of the 5 Buddha families. So this shows that she has awakened the 5 wisdoms. Her back is straight, indicating that her meditation is like a diamond that never falters. Her hair is black. It's partially bound in a top knot, indicating that she is fully awakened. And the rest of it flows down her shoulders and back, indicating that she remains in the world of samsara to benefit beings. And the texture of her hair is silky and smooth, untangled, and this represents her indestructibility. And then behind her vertically is a disk of the moon that's luminous, and this represents her inexhaustible joy. So recognizing this meaningful form in front of us, we are going to chant an homage to her one time. And this is on your practice page. Homage to her whose two eyes shine with the luminosity of the sun and moon, who dispels virulent epidemics with two hara and with two tara. And imagine now that in the center of her saffron-colored body made of light, that her mantra begins to resonate, begins to vibrate in her body. And as it vibrates, her light body begins to radiate light. And her wisdom and compassion manifest in the form of the light of the sun radiating forth from her right eye. And this light completely dispels COVID-19, all contagious diseases, all epidemics, all fevers. And the light of the moon radiates forth from her left eye as nectar. It flows as nectar to you and to all beings. And it brings healing, it brings well-being and ease. And we will imagine this as we chant the mantra. So we imagine that we're joining our voices with this mantra, which is already sounding, naturally arising from Tara. Om Tare Tu Re Nama Tare Mano Hara Om Hara Sawaha. Om Tare Tu Re Nama Tare Mana Hara Om Hara Svaha. Om Tare Tu Re Nama Tare Mano Hara Om Hara Svaha. Om Tare Tu Re Nama Tare Mano Hara Om Hara Svaha. Om Tare Tu Re Nama Tare Mano Hara Om Hara Svaha. Om Tare Tu Re Nama Tare Mano Hara Om Hara Svaha. Om Tare Tu Re Nama Tare Mano Hara Om Hara Svaha. Om Tare Tu Re Nama Tare Mano Hara Om Hara Svaha. Om Tare Tu Re Nama Tare Mano Hara Om Hara Svaha. Om Tare Tu Re Nama Tare Mano Hara Om Hara Svaha. Om Tare Tu Re Nama Tare Mano Hara Om Hara Svaha. Om Tare Tu Re Nama Tare Mano Hara Om Hara Svaha. Om Tare Tu Re Nama Tare Mano Hara Om Hara Svaha. Om Tare Tu Re Nama Tare Mano Hara Om Hara Svaha. Om Tare Tu Re Nama Tare Mano Hara Om Hara Svaha. Om Tare Tu Re Nama Tare Mano Hara Om Hara Svaha. So you can continue to chant the mantra, clearly visualizing Tara in the sky in front, also recognizing our entire environment as a pure land, ornamented with trees and the song of birds and the scent of exquisite flowers, etc. imagining all beings arising in this body of light, this manifestation of compassion in the form of Tara. And all sound is this sound of her mantra resonating, this sound of her wisdom and compassion manifesting as vibration and sound. And all movement of mind is the movement of awakened mind. Om Tare Tu Tare Ture Nama Tare Manahara Om Hara Swaha Om Tare Tu Tare Ture Nama Tare Manahara Om Tare Tu Tare Ture Nama Tare Manahara Om Hara Swaha Om Tare Tu Tare Ture Nama Tare Manahara Om Tare Tu Tare Ture Nama Tare Manahara Om Tare Tu Tare Ture Nama Tare Manahara Om Tare Tu Tare Ture Om Tare Tu Tare Ture Nama Tare Manahara. Seeing the light of the sun radiating forth from her right eye, dispelling COVID-19 and all epidemics, all fevers, all contagious diseases. And the light of the moon flows from her left eye as nectar, which flows into you and to all beings through the crown of your head, completely healing you, bringing well-being and ease. Om Tare Tu Tare Tu Nama Tare Manahara Om Tare Tu And as you're chanting the mantra, it's okay if it's quiet, but you always want to make sure that air is moving over the vocal cords. So always having just a little bit of sound, if not a lot, as you wish. Now we're going to pause the mantra and imagine that Tara in the sky in front dissolves into a drop of saffron-colored light. And that light begins to move towards the crown of your head. It enters your crown chakra, the energy center at the crown of your head, and begins to move down your central channel, which is located just in front of your spine. And as it reaches your heart center, imagine that that light begins to radiate forth in all directions throughout your body. And that light reveals your ordinary form to be the body of Tara. So we now imagine ourselves as being this saffron-colored body of light, Left leg drawn in, right leg slightly extended. Your right hand in the mudra of generosity. Your left hand in the mudra of refuge, holding the thumb and the ring finger pressed together, holding the stem of a lotus which blossoms at your left ear. And on top of that lotus blossom is a round vessel which holds medicinal substances, healing herbs. And you have black hair that's partially bound in a top knot, indicating your full realization. And the rest flows down your back as you are committed to helping beings who are suffering. You wear the crown of the 5 Buddha families as you have transmuted the 5 kleshas into the 5 wisdoms. You've realized the 5 kleshas as the 5 wisdoms. You wear earrings and necklaces of 3 lengths, short, medium, and long. You wear bangles at your wrists and at your elbows, at your ankles. You wear a belt which secures your lower garment of silk. There's 2 layers to this lower garment of silk. Your upper body is also adorned with silk. And there is a piece of silk that ties that crown of the 5 Buddha families to your head. And you also have silk attached to your top knot and that also flows down your back, indicating that you have fully attained the 13 stages of liberation, attaining full awakening. And imagine that from your right eye, the light of the sun radiates forth, dispelling COVID-19. And from your left eye, the light of the moon flows as nectar to all beings, bringing healing, well-being, and ease. And we will visualize this as we continue chanting the mantra. As you're doing this, you can imagine this light that's dispelling COVID-19 and the light that's bringing healing. You can imagine that going to the entire global community. You can focus in on regions if you would like. You can focus in on specific people, specific groups of people, as you wish. As you chant the mantra, we're doing our best to visualize yourself as Tara, all beings as Tara, the surroundings as a pure land. Doing our best to visualize that vividly with precision and brilliance. And simultaneously recognizing the meaning of everything that arises. How every aspect of your body represents a quality of awakened mind or a commitment that you've made to help beings. Om Tare Tu Re Nama Tare Mano Hara Hom Hara Soha. So we'll stop chanting the mantra, taking a moment to experience yourself arising as Tara who dispels epidemics. And taking a moment to rest in the conviction that the light from our right eye, the light of the sun, has completely dispelled COVID-19 and its causes, and that the light of the moon from our left eye has brought healing and well-being and ease to all beings. And now we're going to begin to dissolve the visualization. So you can imagine that our entire surroundings dissolve into light and that light dissolves into all beings who are arising as Tara. And then all those beings arising as Tara begin to dissolve into light and into you. And you can imagine this with the Taras furthest away from you, dissolving into light, and then all of that gradually coming closer and closer to you until it all dissolves into you. And all that remains is you as Tara, who dispels epidemics. And then you begin to dissolve into light from the lotus beneath you, moving upwards, and from the crown of your head, moving downwards, dissolving into your heart center until all that remains is a drop of saffron-colored light. So your mind is arising as this drop of saffron-colored light, which gets smaller and smaller until it too dissolves into this open space of awakened mind. And we'll take a moment to rest our minds here in their natural state. And then you instantly re-arise as Tara, keeping in mind still that all of our surroundings are the Pure Land. All beings arise as Tara. All sound is the sound of her mantra. And all thought is the movement of Tara's awakened mind. And then we will dedicate the merit of our practice. So we share any benefit that's been gained. We freely offer that to all beings that they may attain awakening and be free of suffering, be healthy and happy. Through this goodness, may awakening spontaneously arise in our streams of being. May all obscurations and distortions fall away. May all beings be liberated from suffering and the stormy waves of birth, sickness, old age, and death. So thank you for sitting with me today. I encourage you to do this practice as much as you're able to between now and when we meet again on Tuesday. And it can be as simple as simply chanting Tara's mantra and visualizing that light of radiating forth from her two eyes. And until we meet on Tuesday, I wish you good health and a stable mind that's grounded in your direct experience, and a heart that's open to all beings.